As in stories we've often heard, everything that appears perfect often hides hidden weaknesses. The same goes for Western-made military technology. No matter how good their creations are, it turns out that none are truly flawless, especially on the harsh battlefield. Is there no technology or weapon that is truly indestructible? Let's take a look at the story of the MaxxPro and Kozak, two armored vehicles that were once hoped to become the backbone of Ukraine's defense strategy. These armored vehicles, supplied by the United States and its allies, were designed to be not only reliable in transporting troops, but also capable of patrolling high-risk areas. Their reliability was praised due to their versatile design, high mobility, and ability to withstand light gunfire and shrapnel. However, the high hopes pinned on the MaxxPro and Kozak began to fade when reality hit, as seen in regions like Krasnoarmysk, southern Donetsk, and even Kursk. These vehicles were indeed designed with advanced features that Ukraine did not have. The MaxxPro, in particular, was seen as a solution to Ukraine's limitations in terms of combat vehicle protection. Provided by the US and NATO, this vehicle was viewed as an asset that would change the face of Ukraine's battlefield. But no matter how impressive the claims, the battlefield is not always kind to advanced technology. When faced with real-world challenges, the MaxxPro and Kozak revealed their vulnerabilities. Complex logistical issues, combined with the fact that their durability was more fragile than anticipated, became major obstacles. These vehicles often struggled to withstand stronger attacks that their designers might not have foreseen. One of these was the heavier weaponry and mines, stronger than expected, which were able to penetrate the vehicle's protection, which was supposed to withstand light fire. So, what Russian assets have they faced? How did these Western armored vehicles become so easily vulnerable? The reliability that was previously promised has now turned into a big question mark on the unexpected battlefield. This is the story of one of the bitter battles that took place in the direction of Krasnoarmysk, a point in the special military operation zone filled with challenges and sacrifices. In this harsh battlefield, the Special Operations Unit of the Center Group achieved a fairly satisfying victory. The Vega Special Operations Detachment, part of the Center Group, successfully discovered and captured armored combat vehicles belonging to the Ukrainian Armed Forces, a MaxxPro and a Kozak, which had been carefully hidden by the enemy. None of this happened by chance. Hard work and perseverance were the key. For days, they monitored the movements of Ukrainian militants using unmanned aerial vehicles, tirelessly and relentlessly. They knew that every second was valuable. One day, the FPV team controlling the kamikaze drones carried out a precise strike on a Ukrainian combat security unit. The result of the strike made it easier for them to obtain the coordinates of the armored vehicles, which were then passed on to the front group. Without rushing, the armored vehicles were eventually captured. The vehicles were not severely damaged and were filled with ammunition. After some minor repairs, the vehicles were evacuated to the rear area of the Russian unit, becoming valuable trophies. Information released by the Russian Ministry of Defense explained that the captured vehicles would be used to study the most vulnerable points of the hardware. This certainly provides an advantage for the soldiers of the Center Group. They can now study every detail of the vehicle, from the strongest parts to the weakest. With this knowledge, they will be able to destroy armed forces of Ukraine armored hardware more effectively in future battles. This knowledge is the reward for hard work that has finally borne fruit, enhancing the skills of the Russian forces on the battlefield. However, This story is not the only one that reminds us of how dangerous the battlefield can be. Previously, forces from the 9th Brigade, part of the 51st Southern Military District, successfully trapped and destroyed a Kozak armored vehicle in a minefield. The explosion was so powerful that it caused the vehicle to catch fire and be destroyed. On the other hand, airstrikes were equally devastating. A MaxxPro belonging to the armed forces of Ukraine was completely burned by a Russian kamikaze drone operator. This success proves that Russian weapons possess extraordinary power, even in the harshest of battlefields. From Kursk, another fierce battle is recorded in history, where Russia successfully destroyed a column of equipment belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces. The column consisted of 20 units of equipment, which, based on the condition of NATO weapons and ammunition found on the battlefield, shows that Ukrainian forces were forced to abandon their position in haste. There were Striker, MaxxPro, and Kozak that became satisfying trophies, opening more gaps for Russian forces to dominate the battlefield. However, despite the large number of armed forces of Ukraine armored vehicles that were destroyed, the question remains: how much longer will these armored vehicles continue to be targets? In the southern direction of Donetsk, a heroic story took place. A T-80B VM tank from the Vostok Forces Group, originating from the Primorsky region, bravely broke through residential areas and destroyed 2 armed forces of Ukraine MaxxPro armored personnel carriers. Objective control footage clearly shows how the tank launched a close-range attack after previously being targeted by FPV drones. The bravery of these Russian forces proves that they rely not only on weapons, but also on strategy and resilience in facing threats. These stories come from various regions, from different corners of the battlefield, but one thing always resonates. Is there any new initiative or additional feature that could protect these armored vehicles from the deadly attacks that occur so frequently? How vulnerable are Western armored vehicles on the battlefield? Leave your thoughts and thanks for watching.